these African Continual Technical Regulatory Frameworks forms the basis for AFCFTA implementation. So, and now we are working with other pillars or institutions to ensure that the national quality policies aligns with African quality policies. And I submit, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, George, for highlighting in your introductory remarks the role of PACI and how it is harmonizing the work of the agencies that are responsible in the quality infrastructure space. Dr. Ongeti, the CEO KENAS, and again wearing the hat of Iec-Afrc, maybe you tell us about how KENAS is working to strengthen accreditation services in Kenya, in the region, and what are the achievements so far?
Thank you so much, Stanislaus, and good morning to all the distinguished delegates. It's an absolute pleasure to be invited here and to interact with all of you, and look forward to engaging even further beyond these panel conversations. Kenya Accreditation Service is the sole national accreditation body that is established under the laws of Kenya, established to assess and accredit and perform oversight over conformity assessment bodies. And therefore, in our mandate, we accredit testing laboratories, medical laboratories, proficiency testing providers, certification bodies, inspection bodies, and all other entities that undertake conformity assessment activities. We pride ourselves as a core member and a central cog in the quality infrastructure, not only in the country, but beyond. And we do this by participating in all quality infrastructure policy matters, strategy matters, as well as engaging to ensure that quality is adhered to through checking, assessing, and accrediting all the entities that I've referred to. In terms of achievements over the years, KENAS has been able to solidly and strongly be established as an accreditation body, promote accreditation in the country, in the region, and on the continent. And in that regard, currently we pride ourselves as having accredited over 280 conformity assessment bodies. These bodies, some of them have accreditation in a number of scopes, so much so that, or they have wide scopes, and so much so that it may be one conformity assessment body, but is in testing, certification, inspection, and so forth. We are also currently providing support to other accreditation bodies that are being established or have been established in the region, like the Uganda National Accreditation Service, the Rwanda Accreditation Focal Point, the Tanzania Accreditation Focal Point, and we are a key member, therefore, of the East African Accreditation Board, again playing a critical role there. KENAS is a mutual recognized arrangement member of the African Accreditation Corporation, and therefore wearing that hat as well at the African Accreditation Corporation, we have 7 arrangement members, and these are national accreditation bodies, and we have another nearly 30 stakeholder as well as full members who play their role in different countries. Together combined in Iec-Afrc, and KENAS playing our role because we have accredited entities or CABs in 12 other African countries. We have a coverage under the umbrella of Iec-Afrc over 34 countries, because we have some accreditation bodies that are multi-economy in the manner in which they undertake their work. We continue as KENAS to promote good quality, strong quality infrastructure so that public health, public safety, and trade can be facilitated appropriately. And we are proud that in our endeavors, we collaborate with a number of stakeholders, including regulators, government entities, consumer protection agencies, international bodies, in order to continuously sustain the quality infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ongeti, for highlighting the role of accreditation and how KENAS is ensuring that Kenyans and indeed Africans get quality life. At African level, our mother organization is the AU, the African Union. And from the African Union Commission, with the technical advisor to the quality infrastructure at ANASI, you're welcome to share with us how African countries can strengthen their quality infrastructure systems to better support industrialization and achieve sustainable development goals. Thank you.
Thank you so much, moderator. Good morning, everyone. In fact, since I'm speaking after the Iec-Afrc 10Th, who is representing the PACI chair, and even Iec-Afrc, my work is very easy because at the African Union Commission, what we are doing is coordination. And coming back to the question, in order to strengthen a quality infrastructure, it has to be articulated around 7 elements. And those 7 elements, one is developing, having a quality policy. The quality policy defines the implementation of a sound quality infrastructure, and it has to be adopted by the government. So each institution, each country should at least have a quality policy to coordinate all the elements of a national quality infrastructure. Other elements are the standardization. We have to have strong institutions. The standardization should be one. The accreditation services, the metrology services, and also the conformity assessment. We talked a lot yesterday about conformity assessment activities. And you should not also forget the market surveillance and the definition of a technical regulatory framework in each country. What African Union has done, it has started by developing an Africa quality policy. This has been developed in collaboration with our partners. We thank PTB for assisting the African Union Commission and also Afrexim Bank. We've worked with PAC institutions. We've worked with the REX. We've worked with all member states, and we collaborated to develop this continental framework. The continental framework, which is Africa Quality Policy, it is a guiding document which is meant to guide member states and REC to define their national quality policies. We've worked also on the guidelines to assist member states, to assist also the RECs, to align their national quality policies with Africa quality policy. In fact, at continental level, we should have a coherent system of a continental quality infrastructure. That's why the REC quality infrastructure and the national quality infrastructure of member states should be aligned with the continental, should be aligned with the principles and good practices which are defined in Africa quality policy. We are assisting member states. Some member states have been already assisted in developing their national quality policies. This work is underway. We are working with partners to assist the member states to align their national quality policies with Africa quality policy. What we've done also is to define a continental framework, the governance framework. We established the Africa Quality Policy Council, which is overseeing all activities related to the development of quality infrastructure in Africa. The council is chaired by African Union Commission and is comprising the RECs, the PACI institutions, the representative of private sector is very important. It is also represented, the consumers and academia. So this entity is already established. We've defined the Africa Quality Policy Action Plan, which is the reference for the partners to develop different projects according to Africa Quality Policy. We've also adopted the African Technical Regulatory Framework, and we've developed already a guide for countries to develop their national regulatory framework, and we are training the countries on the guide to be able to define their continental frameworks. Moderator, Chair, this is what you are doing, but the work is ongoing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You've heard it. At the continental level, the African quality policy is necessary for us to be coherent and consistent and to be able to trade with each other easily. It's like a foundation for the continental free trade. So we go now to the last remarks. Very briefly, Esther, I come back to you to tell us maybe what mechanisms will ensure greater African participation in ISO activities, particularly in the ISO technical committees and decision making. And you can also touch on how ISO is collaborating with African regional bodies to achieve harmonization of standards. Very briefly, Madam.
Thank you so much. Let me start by saying that one of the ISO strategic goals is all voices heard. And in this goal, the main thing is that all the voices needs to be heard from the developing countries, from the African countries. Our voices needs to be heard, and especially in the technical committees and in the governance structures. And ISO has put in quite a number of things to make sure that this is achieved as a goal. And one of them is the ISO sponsorship programs. We've had sponsorship programs for the technical committee members to participate in technical meetings, which involves paying for funding for traveling of the experts to participate in ISO standardization processes. We have seen this increasing with time, the capacity building and the sponsorship programs. It moved from 3 committees. Currently we are at 5 technical committees which are funded fully by ISO for our members to participate. And we are looking at even increasing this further because we need to have our voices heard at the table. And once we participate in the development of these international standards, then we are able to adopt the same standards. So that's in a nutshell. The other one is on leadership, management, development programs. We have a program by ISO where developing countries are trained in terms of leadership. It's one of those training programs where it looks at the 6 core ISO leadership competencies, which is strategic leadership, management relationships, communicating with impact, challenge and drive for results, change management and self-awareness and self-leadership. We have had quite a number of CEOs and heads of standardization participating in this leadership program. I have personally benefited from it, and my head of standardization. And in May this year, we were also privileged to host that LMD program here in Kenya. And we have seen a number of people benefiting, and actually 17% of the candidates who have participated in this program hold governance positions within ISO. Now, in terms of the collaboration with African regional bodies, Adanase has spoken about the collaboration that was there with the African Union Commission and the AFCFTA in developing of the African Continental Technical Regulatory Framework, which is currently under implementation. And recently, during the ISO General Assembly in Kigali, we signed the Kigali Agreement between ALSO and other continental quality structures under PACI. And this Kigali Agreement is a multi-layer project supported by PTB, and we are expecting to gain out of this, and especially the African countries to benefit in terms of our participation in technical work.
Thank you, Madam. I move to Engineer Sabri, very briefly to tell us in a few words the work of Iec-Afrc and how it liaises with IEC, and maybe you can tell us about these rules, the Iec-Afrc rules about adoption of endorsements of 12 months. What is the status now?
We can say that Iec-Afrc IEC cooperation agreement ensures alignment of African regional standards with international best practices, while enabling feedback from African experts into IEC standards development. Opportunity is there. The technical committees and standards adoption. Iec-Afrc develops African electrotechnical standard primarily by adopting IEC standards. And as well as we have other agreement with IEEE, with the regional adoption agreement as well, and we have this opportunity to adopt IEEE standards. Sometimes with some contextual modifications for African climatic, infrastructural or socio-economic realities, and this can go back for IEC for these modified adoptions according to our agreement. There will be, this has the opportunity to have a consolidated African voice. Iec-Afrc, through its technical committee, members agree on same comments while reviewing the standards, consolidating the views of member states to present a unified African position. We have as well the joint webinars with IEC and as well as African expert or NECs through the IEC Academy and capacity building program, enhancing Africa technical competence to engage effectively in standardization work. As well as with the regional partners. Shall I talk about the regional partners as well? Okay. Regarding the regional partners, as maybe I give an idea in the introduction, we have a coordination with, as Atanazi mentioned, based on the PACI institution. Iec-Afrc is one of the PACI pillars, and we work together in common projects like the power quality infrastructure. We work in other projects in the Iec-Afrc and NAC-TREF and all of that. And we collaborate with AFCFTA according to the MOU signed last year, harmonized and reviewed by Iec-Afrc. As well as with APUA, and ARSO with, through the joint technical committees in harmonization of priority standards needed by the power utilities and renewable energy stakeholders. So AFSIC, in partnership with IEC and regional bodies, transforms Africa from a standards user into a standard contributor, ensuring that international electrotechnical standards reflect African realities, priorities, and potential. So this collaboration strengthens Africa's industrial competitiveness and global inclusivity in standardization. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Engineer Sabri. Very quickly, George, just up to three barriers. What are the barriers to achieving a strong quality infrastructure in Africa?
Thank you, Chair. In the implementation of quality infrastructure in Africa, I think we are aware that funding gaps have become significant in this issue. It's estimated that Africa requires up to USD of 170 billion to implement quality infrastructure. And we now have the issue of infrastructure needs to be done. So then other issues take precedence. So we have the funding issue. We also have regulatory and policy barriers where there is inconsistent or weak legal frameworks within member states, for some member states, and also lack of harmonized standards. We also have institutional capacity constraints. We lack that some countries lack strong institutions to implement quality infrastructure. We also have political instability, and governance issues. I think this is, we are all aware, we are in this continent, the issue of political instability and governance issues. Limited technology adoption, in this case, to uptake of digital platforms, or creation of digital platforms for the implementation of quality infrastructure services. We also have fragmented regional integration. So we look at the regional economic activities, communities, sorry. So how are they integrated in terms of quality infrastructure? Thank you, Samiche.
Thank you, George. On the barriers to integration, before I come back home, let me give Atanasi a minute to tell us something about the progress made so far on the African Quality Policy and AFCFTA. Very briefly.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chair. With regard to the progress achieved so far, I talked about the quality policy and its alignment with the national quality policies of our countries. And by the end of this year, we hope to have at least 10 countries which will have their national quality policies aligned with the Africa Quality Policy. With regards to AFCFTA, we are working closely with AFCFTA Secretariat on mutual recognition arrangement to be able to have this mutual recognition arrangement adopted by member states, which will guide the recognition of conformity assessment results between member states, so that they can trade freely within Africa and beyond. And also, in terms of conformity assessment, we are working with partners, especially with UNIDO and the ITC, to assist the conformity assessment bodies on training, on building capacities, so that they can be accredited. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, Dr. Ongeti, back home, Kenya's Iec-Afrc, what's cooking? How are we strengthening accreditation in Africa? And please also talk us through the upcoming International Accreditation Conference.
Thank you so much, Stanislaus. Indeed, the challenges that have been highlighted by my fellow panelists are those that are also experienced because we operate really in the same quality infrastructure, and they are the same that are also experienced by accreditation bodies on the continent, Kenas included. That as it may, we are putting in place consistently initiatives that would ensure that conformity assessment activities are undertaken observing the standards that have been adopted at the international level. This is because quality cannot be a preserve, and this we see in so many scenarios that we see producers, manufacturers, farmers very keen to produce, manufacture, and comply to international standards if these goods and services are for export. However, we as an accreditation body and operating in that ecosystem and also at the Iec-Afrc level are very keen that quality should be embraced from the bottom up, meaning that we should be disturbed about the quality of goods and services that we consume at all levels, whether these goods are meant for export or not. And we have numbers that we are also hoping to subject to further research that, for example, produce meant for export in a number of our countries is rejected to a fair percentage. And it is because sometimes it does not meet either specific market requirements or the international standards as prescribed. Now the question is, do these goods then end up being consumed at that local level? For instance, the farmer who produced tomatoes which could not be exported, or mangoes which could not be exported because they could not meet the international standards. Does that mean that this tomato is now fit to be dispensed of at the local market level? And therefore, as an accreditation body, we are saying, and together with the standards body and other stakeholders are saying, is it possible to design accreditation schemes, let's say at the county level, which a county government can actually adopt, and we can be able to accredit conformity assessment bodies to that particular localized scheme or national scheme, which is mirroring the international standard, but also fit for the SMEs, fit for the farmer, and so forth. And this is our strategy now moving into the future. In the interest of time, allow me to touch on the issue of the International Accreditation Conference, which is the first ever of its kind to be held anywhere on the globe. We are bringing together regulators, consumers, the standards bodies, our global, newly established Global Accreditation Corporation, which is the merger between the International Laboratories Accreditation Corporation and the International Accreditation Forum. We're also bringing in Iec-Afrc and all these other students, researchers, academia, into this kind of conversation that I was referring to, so that we can have a harmonized approach. Because also for us as accreditation bodies, we are switching the conversation from technical conversations that revolve around quality, because we realize that players in the quality infrastructure are always talking to themselves. We get in a meeting, then we start talking about ISO IEC 17025-1, -3, -7. And the consumer down there, the last mile consumer, is wondering, how does this 17021-3, how does it relate to me? What does it speak to me? And therefore we are bringing, and even for regulators, and we've started having conversations with regulators, and they're starting to appreciate the role of accreditation, the role of quality, the role of standards in enhancing even the regulatory framework, and also then enhancing compliance at all levels. So that's why we are having this conference that will be taking place between 11th and 13th of November, and that is next week in Mombasa, and all of you are really invited. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ongeti. Three very succinct things about the importance of accreditation, and the foremost importance of speaking to the consumer of the standard, not speaking to ourselves. And then lastly, of course, the invitation for us next week to join him in Mombasa. He didn't say the venue, but I think he'll be able to give more information after this. I would like to take the next 5 to 7 minutes. We take questions from, someone will assist with that, to take questions from the floor. Please keep the question short, precise, and if you have a specific panelist you would like to address the question, please state so. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Mark Ambitho. I'm a Infotrack Research and Consulting. I'm a partner. My question basically goes to Kenneth in terms of speaking on the issue of standards. We have so many institutions in this country that are ISO certified. The common man does not understand, because we only thought ISO, maybe for the parastatal, is putting on t-shirts on Friday and most likely having a choir. Because if you go to some of those institutes just to even get services, they don't qualify. So does Kenas or maybe Kenya Bureau of Standards, do you bite when you see an organization is ISO maybe 9001, and ultimately you find that the way they're offering even their services is so poor, they cannot even qualify to pass. So is it that the ISO is bought, or is it that it's a sham? So for the common man to start understanding standards, we must start with these organizations. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Allow me to stand. My name is Caleb Ngala. I'm leading a community-based organization called Light of Hope Away from Home, which is advocating for standard items in our community. So when consumer is consuming thing, or you want to buy something, we can help you understand what is fake and what is not fake. Certified with the Kenya Bureau of Standards. That is our key stepping stone when it comes to identification of substandards things. We want community to own all this process of substandards, because we are the ones who understand the effect, directly effect, especially those people who are coming from the low income areas and informal settlements areas. But there is a gap of advocacy, sensitization, and even mobilizing communities to understand on how to identify what is substandard product in our society. So, KEPS, directly this goes to KEPS. I know you are doing a very good work, especially when it comes to policies and even enforcement of those substandard things in the Kenyan's market. But the advocacy part, creating awareness part is still low. How can we work maybe together with the community level, not at the top level, but at the community level, so that we can sensitize community and remove those substandard products in our community, especially when it comes to health, food, and nutrition, we have a lot of substandard things that results to cancer, diabetes, and other chronic diseases. Last but not least is a weak regulation system. We have a lot of regulatory bodies that even some names we are just coming across in this conference, but implementations of those policies that you people are passing maybe in different conferences and in different countries, this goes to you, AUC. How can we bring all these policies together so that they can help different countries instead of having double policies? Maybe Kenya want to do a business with maybe Uganda, but when it comes to border, if you want to pass your product maybe to Namanga or either country's borders, you get a lot of barriers that maybe might end up.
Mine is very brief because key area have been touched by some of the participants. But mine is first to congratulate the organizers of this conference, particularly on the issue of standards, another area of accreditation, and the dangers of labeling, whereby, having learned what has gone through, having all those myriad challenges, I'm coming from an organization nurturing values and etiquettes for us to get a great future. For my father of sacrifices life, as me, Wambugu Wagithaiga, should enjoy life to the fullest, for devoid of those myriad challenges. My organization, I come from Mau Mau Governing Council of Kenya. I am the Secretary General of Mau Mau Governing Council of Kenya. We are nurturing values. Yes, Bonkenas. I am a victim. And some community members have been victims. So even, let me give a simple example of the French beans. The government and even the banks were funding some young boys and girls to export in that trade of French beans. It was catch 21, if not 18 by that time. The danger of standards here makes me passionate about it. Because even it's from those standards that some exported those products to Europe. And when these products landed to Europe, they were substandard, as claimed. And when they were substandard, we need, to be very brief now, we need a mechanism on sensitization, particularly on what we are exporting and the standards that are required beyond our nose here in Kenya. Secondly, the regulatory frameworks that we are saying they are weak, even on pesticides and other things that we are saying of porous borders and everything else. We need to come up with that mechanism of change of mindset. The economic situation is pushing us now, even others, to bring or get that temptation of bringing some standards, making our country a dumping ground. The other danger, even on automobiles, whether 3 or 2. The automobiles was a game changer when we were pursuing and pushing for it to be implemented. So, right now, the electromobiles, the challenges we are bedeviling in the society is that at the end of the day, we come up with a policy framework, even a platform.
Thank you.
Please make a platform for us
Thank
to
you.
ventilate on those issues so that we can flag them off
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
make it work
Thank you.
nationally.
Now,
God bless you.
Thank you. One last one here, and please keep it very brief, then we can take that set of questions. Our time is really run out, and we will need to get responses from my panelists. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for this forum, because it has created awareness, especially like yesterday, we had some interaction with Wolfram, Engineer Wolfram, and he was able to introduce us to how we can access tests or laboratories online. Okay, my name's Lucy Patricia Onundo. I'm from Technical University of Mombasa. So, Madam Esther, you have mentioned about there is funding and sponsorship, especially which has been made available so that it can enable Africa participation, especially on matters to do with access to laboratories and real-time projects. Because in the universities, especially the public universities, we are raising up students and we have vulnerable equipment. So maybe there's a need for this, has actually added at least some value that we are now aware that that provision is there, but how can the university be made aware? Then number two, also through this, we have been able to learn about the digital platforms that do exist, especially in line with implementation of quality standards. A majority of our manufacturing equipment currently are going digital, and us in the universities, we are still having also some challenges along the digital framework. So Iec-Afrc, you really highlighted on that. So we just pray that if you can be able to look at means in which universities can have access to trainings, especially along digital platforms. Thank you.
I think we will take those questions. Yeah, we will take those questions. We will start with Kenneth, Dr. Ongeti. Question from Mark. How do you operate in situations where there are ISO-certified firms that are not performing? And maybe that one, when I will come to Esther, you'll also touch on it because certification lies in your domain, but accreditation is the anchor.
Thank you, Stanislaus. I was just about to donate that question to, to my sister Esther, but allow me to comment on it from an accreditation body perspective. That we, as an accreditation body, check the checkers and give that third-party assurance. So in the specific case of certification bodies, there will be the checker in terms of certification. Like in the example that Mark used for ISO 9001 certified, it means that the certification body has certified that body as such. Now, of course, for the certification body to do this work, we check for the competence of the certification body, that it has the expertise, it has the skill sets, it has the people who can actually be able to undertake that job of assessing and certifying, and that we do through our assessment process, and we also undertake surveillance. And in some of the instances, we actually ensure that we witness what they are doing before and then accrediting them so that they can actually be able to certify. In a number of instances where such concerns are brought to our attention, that the entity that is certified seems not to be following the requirements of that certification, we bring it usually to the attention of the certification body so that they are able to address those particular gaps. I will then therefore donate at a later point the remaining part of that question that came from Mark. Allow me to touch a little bit on the comment that came from, I didn't quite get her name, Patricia, from Technical University of Mombasa, and more specifically on the university's ability to equip their laboratories. One is that we as an accreditation body have partnered with a number of universities which have appreciated and engaged and together been able to guide them towards the accreditation process. And it's because universities play a critical role in undertaking research that then leads to innovation and also leads to commercialization of some of the research findings. And also the research findings are very, very critical to solve societal problems, but also cognizant of the fact that the output of the universities, who are the students, the graduates, are meant to be market ready. And so a number of universities, not only in Kenya, but also in the region, have come in the space of accreditation. And you would be impressed to note that for those that have been accredited, benefit a lot from the commercial side of it, because then the test results are very much acceptable across the globe. And so, and we're calling on other universities to also come in that particular space. The other concern will be that some of the institutions, the universities, are struggling to be able to sustain the competence. And that is also a conversation that we can have in a multi-stakeholder approach. And we call upon each other. Another comment that touched on us as part of the regulatory agency space is that, and to access markets. I know also my colleague Esther would touch on this because she's more grounded there. But allow me to say that some of the challenges that were mentioned in terms of products specification and meeting the international requirements when they get there is something that we will take up and ensure we consistently sensitize farmers, because increasingly globally, and that's why the quality infrastructure exists, to reduce technical barriers to trade. But specific economies from time to time come up with requirements and change those requirements, and it is incumbent upon us, and we go and negotiate as these requirements change at the World Trade Organization in the Technical Barriers to Trade Committee, where KEBS is our coordinator there as well, and as the State Department of Trade. But sometimes you may find that maybe a specific market requirement has changed and the producer or the exporter may not be aware, and then you may face the challenges as those. So we will, I'm sure, be more proactive so that we engage to the benefit of all the producers. Thank you.
Thank you. I want Esther to be last because she has a myriad of things to look at. Maybe I go to AUC on this issue of how universities can benefit and access trainings and capacity building.
Thank you so much, Chair. Universities should, in fact, benefit from quality infrastructure a lot, especially with regard to standardization. The standard developed. They can approach the institutions at national level and benefit from the standard. They have access on the standard, which can be used in training, in research, in education. And at African Union Commission level, what we are working on is to see how we can integrate standardization principles and conformity assessment, and even the whole quality infrastructure elements in education. And we look forward to work with different universities in that regard. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we come to Esther. You have a mouthful because there is the issue of the ISO certification, which you can react to, the issue of how those who are certified, the effect of standards on community, especially with regard to advocacy, sensitization on substandard products. You also can relate to this issue of rejection of products in other markets. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That now forces me to remove the hat of ISO and wear the MD cabs as I respond. And thank you for those questions. Very, very critical for this conversation. Let me start with the certification of farms. And the person who was questioning was asking, are these certificates bought? And why these farms don't seem to meet the basic requirements for service provision. Kenya Bureau of Standards has a certification body which has been accredited by KENAS. And we do certify different farms who have applied for certification. As you remember, that certification to management systems is not mandatory. It's a voluntary certification. And when you see a farm that has been certified to any management system, QMS, which is the 9001 and others, it means they have met the requirements of the standard. And of course, the requirements of the standards are different depending on what we are looking at. And once a farm has been certified, it means it has gone through the rigorous process of being checked, what have you put in place. And once it has been certified, the certification does not just end there. There is normally surveillance that is carried out every year by the certification body. Now, in the course of this surveillance, and after a period of, say, 3 years, then there's a recertification. So the certification does not just end at issuing the certificate. And during that period of maintaining the certification, as a certification body, there are different things that we look at. Of course, we check, are there complaints about that particular body, that particular farm that has been certified. We also scout even the media complaints. And in case as a certification body, we realize there's a complaint about a particular farm that we have certified that relates to a breach in terms of the requirements of the standard, then we get in touch with that farm to understand exactly what is happening. Can you respond to these? And that also forms part of what we do during the surveillance audits. So if you have an issue of a farm that you know is certified, then it is important that you raise it. You can raise it with that farm so that their certification body, then when they come to recertify, they are able to look at it in the subsequent surveillance audits that are carried out, because we don't expect a certified farm to then offer substandard services to the consumers. Then there was the question on public awareness on standards. And thank you very much for the role that you are playing. And what I would want to say, as Kenya Bureau of Standards, we have different programs that bring the awareness to the consumer, and we specifically have one that we call Wajibika na KEBS. This is a Swahili word for those who are not, who don't understand Kiswahili. Wajibika na KEBS means that you as a consumer, you are supposed to play a part in terms of how do you tell a product which is standard, which meets the standard. And especially for our country, we have a mark that we give to every product after the product has been certified. And we normally raise the awareness of the consumers that you can be able to check the validity of the certificate, the product that you're using by sending a code, and then you'll get back the response. And it's normally SM, if it is for standardization mark on the product that is manufactured here in Kenya is SM hash, the number on that mark, to 20023, and immediately you receive a response which tells you whether that product is certified, it is valid or not. So that is one of the things we have been informing the public on how to check, as well as for the imported products, because we check all the imported products, is to send the ISM number to that code, and you'll get a response which tells you whether it's valid or not. So it is one of the things that we have been trying to do public awareness. In terms of changes in the international market, as Kenya Bureau of Standards, we are the national inquiry point for WTO. And normally one of the roles that we play as the national inquiry point is to scan the environment, the trade environment for all members, the 160 members of WTO, and we are able to get notifications on any changes or measures that the other WTO members are taking. And then once we do that through the Technical Barriers to Trade Committee, where we are secretariat, then we discuss those and we bring it to the attention of our the various agencies or the manufacturers that there's a change. Europe has notified this and it's going to affect the market. So we are very specific on markets where we are currently in, plus markets that we are looking as a country to get. And once we get those notifications, then they are discussed in the TBT committee, and we normally raise issues when we go to the WTO meetings, TBT, and we raise the issues on the floor where we realize that maybe a particular country has notified and that notification is going to affect our trade with that country. So we raise those issues and we are able to defend our position. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Esther. Thank you very much, and thank you, my distinguished panelists. Thank you, the audience. You've been wonderful listening and very insightful based on the questions that we are receiving from the group. I would like to bring this curtain to a close by highlighting just the few things that I think have come up in the course of this discussion. First, or number one, that a robust quality infrastructure comprising of metrology, standards, accreditation, regulatory function, and conformity assessment is essential for national and global development. It ensures that products, services, and systems meet consistent and reliable quality and safety standards. Secondly, the quality infrastructure enhances consumer protection, promotes fair trade, and strengthens industrial competitiveness, and promotes safety. Thirdly, internationally, it facilitates mutual recognition, enabling countries to access global markets through trust in the conformity assessment activities. Fourthly and lastly, by supporting evidence-based regulation, environmental sustainability, technological advancement, a strong quality infrastructure underpins economic growth, public health, and confidence in global supply chains that are forming the foundation of modern, resilient economy. I want you to also join me again in applauding my excellent panel. And thank you very much, panelists. We really appreciate and benefited from your insights in strengthening the quality infrastructure in Africa. I will ask the panelists, and then thereafter the MC will take over.
As the photo is coming, I can make best use of that time, and as usual, I will join the photo. It's my good privilege to be taking the nice photo with this distinguished panel. And of course, let's give a round of applause to the wonderful Mr. Stanislaus Masinza. He did very well, and a heartfelt applause for this team. You did very well. Thank you. Thank you. We can be seated no, I think the photos are still going. I'm still inside the photos. George, please stay in the photo. Okay. All right, friends, now we take a little break. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a powerful, enlightening conversation. Hasn't it been helpful? Yeah, I found it very helpful. Our panel on strengthening Africa's quality infrastructure has not only deepened our understanding, but they have given us a clear collective roadmap for action across the continent. My mind cannot lose the powerful words of our gracious host, Madam Managing Director, Mrs. Esther Ngari, as the regional representative, saying that 75% of ISO members are from developed countries. I think Africa, from developing countries, yeah, I think Africa, Africa takes a good opportunity to keep being the voice, where she said, at ISO, all voices are heard. And then, of course, I know some of us now are going to look out for benefiting from the Kigali Agreement. That was a message worthy of deep reflection. I thank you, Engineer Omnia, for your executive remarks as the secretary. They came with force. Over 300 electrotechnical standards across Africa. That's good work done. And of course, Mr. George Maswai, he began by mentioning the PACI forming the framework for, I think it was a good session. Let's take a break. I think it was a good session. Let's take a break. Before the break, I'm just waiting for the communication team to beam something that is, it's already there. Can you make it big? This is an important QR code. Can you take out your phones and your devices? Anything that can interact with the QR code. If your spec scan, your phone, there's something important here. It is a moment of feedback. Before you take the short break, we would like to hear your feedback. So on this QR code, just please take a moment to scan it. There are 4 questions. And 5. Kindly give us your feedback, because distinguished guests, our dignitaries, will go first. They'll use this door on my left. So I'll just ask, of course, our international delegates, if you can accompany our dignitaries. When we return after the coffee break, before the coffee break, before you return, during the coffee break, just use the coffee break to network. It's not going to be long, so please, let's visit the exhibition later. I'll restrict the coffee break to 20 minutes for the sake of the next session. But for now, just continue the vibrant conversations, the questions. When you come back, I'll show you the partners, people whose big, tall shoulders we have stood on to build quality infrastructure. So saying that to just allow you to interact with the QR code. I know now maybe you have it in your phone. You can give us your feedback. Our dignitaries, please, would you be upstanding and use this exit on my left, which will be your right, where Mr. Zeiss is peeping from. Mr. Zeiss, would you please wave? Yeah, that is the side you should be using. I'm just using you as a landmark because you are a big landmark for IEC. All right, so our international delegates, I would ask you to join. Monamiva Oduor, I would like you to join this team following this side. And of course, Baba Yao, Baba Afrique, Mr. Francois. I think Mother should also be in this. Where is Mother? Mother should also be in this side. Yeah. Let's give them some time as they go fast, just for orders. And then our tea break will end at 11:40. So just mark your timer. 11:40, we should be back for a very interesting session with the partners. We will celebrate the institutions that have stood with the quality infrastructure in Africa. And I'll give you their names. Enjoy your break. Make a new friend. Increase your contact by 1, 1.5, or something like that. And then I'll see you after. All right, guys, I think we can also just join the guests and the other delegates for the tea session.